Hello, everybody. Welcome to Reality Buzz TV, where we talk about all things reality TV shows and all things reality TV show stars. So, today we are going to do the full review of the Ultimate Girls Trip, the South African version, you guys. I'm so excited to do this review right now. So, let me just make sure that my stream is monetized and then we can move right ahead. So, listen, you guys, there's a lot to talk about. One thing I can tell you is that I'm very happy with the casting of this show. I think that they did a really good job in getting us a combination of a cast that will likely give us drama and give us something that we are going to enjoy watching. So, I don't have anybody on this cast where I feel like they shouldn't be here. I definitely would have loved to see Tato from the Cape Town franchise. I think it would have been nice to have her on this cast. However, you guys, the nice thing about the Ultimate Girls Trip is that even though the person might not be on the first season, it does not mean that they cannot be on the next season. Okay, there's always a chance that they can bring the person in for the season after that. So if you don't make it for the first season, you are maybe likely to make it for the next one. If it's not the next one, it's the next one. So I'm not really upset about the fact that the people that I would have liked to see this season are not there, because I feel like there's still a chance that they will do other seasons. And with the Ultimate Girls Trip, you only do it once. Okay, from what I've seen, I think you only do one season and then the next time they get another group. So if you have your favorite and they are not on this season, there's nothing to be upset about. You will get them next season. I do love the fact that we are going back to seeing Unonku on this show without Jojo, without Maria, the Jokuma situation. Okay. So Nonku is going back to being the OG that independently thinks and does things. She will be making her own decisions. I'm sure she will be giving Jojo a lot of calls, to get confirmation, am I doing the right thing here? But I do love the fact that, the other ladies are not there. Nonku is there by herself. And she is giving us good TV, you guys. I feel like the first hour that they were there, Nonko was already drunk, and we know when Nonko is drunk, she gives you good TV because she's not gonna think a lot about what she's going to say. She's just going to say things that she's not supposed to say, and then she's going to say things and forget that she said them. Okay, so she's good TV. I like that. I have Ononko. I do love the fact that they brought my ultimate favorite on the Real Housewives franchise, and Lassie has always been my ultimate favorite when it comes to Real Housewives in South African franchises, because I just like her. Okay, I just love her, so I am happy that they brought her back. We also do see Umabosi right at the beginning when Lassie is preparing for the trip. You guys, I don't know, you guys. I feel like maybe they are paying Umabosi a lot for these appearances. I just feel like the producers are using her a lot. They are not giving her a permanent spot on any of these shows, but they are making sure that they bring her on for a scene or two just to use her. So I don't like that. I would have loved Umabosi to join the cast or maybe join the next one, but I don't like the fact that they keep using him. But I started to feel like, you know what, maybe they pay her, they give her a really good check for doing these scenes. That's why she still does them. So we've got Crystal, guys. At the beginning, they're all just preparing for the trip, and it feels like everybody's going to arrive there at the same time, but it doesn't happen that way because everybody arrives, but Londi London, for some reason, is not there. So she's held back. So I guess maybe she will be arriving in a few days, but we do see her prepare as well. She even gives a call to Annie and, just telling her she's on her way. Okay. Guys, I don't know if I'm the only one that feels like Crystal's son, because we saw Crystal's son at the beginning when they were preparing to leave, and she's at the mansion. Remember the mansion that they were fighting about with somebody that had bought the mansion but never paid for it, and she had to go to court and get it. So she was shooting in that mansion. I kind of feel like her son should be like in his early 20s by now, because we've been seeing Crystal's son since what, season 1 of Real Housewives of Johannesburg. How come he's still a preteen? I don't know. He looks young for somebody that we've been seeing on TV for a long time. They have Melanie Falun, you guys, the scandal girl, okay? The Tammy Taylor girl. I guess you guys in South Africa, it doesn't matter what you are being accused of, okay? You can be accused of all kinds of crimes and you can still get jobs, okay? They don't care in South Africa that you've been accused of serious things, okay? So everybody is, I guess, traveling business class, you know, or first class. Which one was it? Okay. And then Crystal and Beverly end up driving together from the airport to, you know, where they were supposed to stay. And it doesn't work out too well, you guys, because at the beginning they were having a conversation. By the way, Beverly is from which franchise? Pretoria, I think. Beverly, Pretoria, okay. Guys, I can't remember. But Bev and Crystal are driving together and they have a conversation. At the beginning, it's nice, okay? And, you know, it's all positive. And then I guess Beverly just made a joke to say, listen, if there's one person that will start a fight, from the white girls, it's probably going to be Crystal. We all know that Vel is going to be Crystal because Crystal does that. That's why they bring her on. She starts all the fights, but she wasn't impressed by that. So by the time they get there, she's already upset about the fact that Beverly made that comment. But I'm not understanding why she's upset, because actually she does that fight. And the fact that even that just upset her and she overreacted, I guess Beverly was right there, you guys. Liz and Lassie are driving together. And Liz was just making a joke about how they are on a quantum. They are in a quantum. Remember when we were reviewing, was it season 3 or 2 of Real Housewives of Devon, season 2, and Lassie and the ladies were driving in a quantum while the others were flying, and they did not know that the others were flying. So it just reminded me of that situation. So Liz was just making a joke about how they are driving in a quantum, yet they are with Lassie. And they're supposed to have the blue lights or whatever, since she is a Mrs. President or Mrs. Former President. Okay. Listen, you guys, I do feel like, I don't know, maybe other people would love to hear Lassie talk more about the former president. I feel like Lassie did 2 seasons of Real Housewives of Durban. And at that time, we were very much interested in knowing what was happening with her relationship. You know, was she still with the former president? Was she not with the former president at the time? She never did it. She avoided it. Okay. Now it's like she takes every chance that she can to talk about it. Even when people are just mentioning it in passing, now she's having a sit down with them to explain that she was never Mrs. Zuma. I kind of feel like she's using the situation. She's already done interviews where she explained what happened in her relationship. She did those posts. Well, I guess this was before she did the post. So we've heard about it. We know how the breakup happened. So I don't know, you guys. I feel like we wanted that storyline on Real Housewives of Durban, and it's going to bore me if all that she's going to do is hang on to the former president storyline. I want something new when it comes to Lassie. And also, she has dated other people after the former president. Didn't she date Petal? You know, we want to hear about Petal. Didn't she date? There was some guy she went overseas for, but she wouldn't show the guy, you know, if you watch her on her Instagram. So, yes, you guys, but I guess she'll be talking about the former president, okay? Lithabo Joy from Real Housewives of Johannesburg is there, you guys. She arrives. She looks different every time I see her, Lithabo, and I feel like she does a lot to her face and she does a lot to her body. So every time you see her, she looks different. So when Letabo and Crystal are there and Beverly, they were just trying to sort out the whole misunderstanding of Beverly saying Crystal was going to fight first. I did not understand what was so upsetting to Crystal. Okay, it was like they were just the day, and then now they are fighting. Even the butler there was saying, "Hey, the ladies are just here a few minutes and they're already fighting." Listen, you guys, I don't understand if the man who is a butler who is helping them out is casted for the show, because he just seems to be involving himself a lot in their conversations. He is trying to stop them from fighting. He was confusing me, you guys. He was confusing me. I did not understand that. Anyway, when Alita, they're talking about Crystal being the one that is going to start the fight, she says what I was thinking, which was, did Beverly lie though when she said you are going to start the fight? Because normally you are the one to start the fight. Melanie, who is the Timmy Taylor girl, comes, and I was surprised that she did not recognize Letabo. But then I thought, but yeah, Letabo changes. Every time you see her, her face has changed, her body has changed. So I guess really we can't blame Melanie, because apparently Litabo was on Melanie's podcast at some point, but Melanie couldn't see her. She was like, I haven't met you. Who are you? And she's like, yes, you've met me. I've been I've been to your podcast. And then so she was like, oh, okay. And you are guys, I was like, yeah. I guess they are not celebrities to each other. They're not treating each other like celebrities, you guys. Listen, somebody called Ulasi Mrs. Zuma. I think it was Liz. And then Liz Lassie ended up feeling the need to sit Liz down, because she says, we are Mpapela, by calling her Mrs. Zuma. And she says that you have to respect. Guys, that thing bores me. The thing of Lassie and the Zuma, she's like, you have to respect that surname. I'm not Mrs. Zuma. I was never married to the Zuma family, so stop calling me Mrs. Zuma. I was engaged and the relationship is over, so stop calling me that. And I'm like, unamanga vele uyafuna sikubize ngo-Mrs. Zuma. I do feel like Ulasi, with the elections going on, maybe she's feeling like, her ex has a chance in winning the elections. So she's using every chance that she gets to attach herself to her ex, because sometimes it's just unnecessary. The extra conversation about people calling her Mrs. Zuma, because they were really just joking about it. Okay. Anyway, I mean, Liz wasn't taking it that seriously, so it ended up not being as serious as she was making it to be. Okay. The funny part, you guys, was that when Nonku was arriving, Nonku thought she was coming as the OG of the OGs. Okay, because she is the OG. Her, Crystal are the OGs. Okay, I guess Crystal is more of an OG than Nonku, because Crystal did Real Housewives of Johannesburg, which was the first franchise ever in South Africa. So she is more of an OG than Nonku. However, Nonku is the longest running OG. Her and Sorisha are the longest running OG, because Durban is the longest running franchise. Okay. So she thought she was going to be the longest running OG, but also she was going to be the only OG from the Durban franchise. Okay. Turns out that Lassie is there, and she wasn't impressed by that. Guys, I've never understood why Nonku doesn't like Lassie, because I don't feel like Lassie has specifically done anything to Nonku. Even when people were coming for Nonku for her drinking, some people calling her alcoholic, Lassie didn't participate much in that. Okay, not that she was saying that Nonku doesn't drink, when all on the London were even having a meeting, about it, to say Nonku drinks a lot. And Lassie was not really part of that, but for some reason, she just does not like Lassie. And I think I agree with Mabusi when she says that Unonku is classist. I think she has a hard time getting along with the black girls. And I feel like even now her getting along with Zama is because the other ladies, George or no Maria, get along with not oh yes with Uzama. Jojo and Maria gets along with Uzama. That's why she has I don't know, tried to get along with Uzama, but she doesn't like to be friends with the black girls. Okay. And I think it goes with her wanting to be friends with the girls that she thinks are the richest. But we also know the reason for that, because behind the scenes, these ladies will be buying each other bags, they'll be borrowing each other, money, sometimes gifting each other money. So behind the scenes, there's a lot happening. So I guess it's better to be friends with people that have money. So I'm not understanding why Noko has never liked Lassie, but she doesn't. But the greeting when they were seeing each other, you guys, everything was warm, even though there was a certain look that Ulasi had when Noko was walking in, but she did not say anything negative in the beginning. So the welcoming was okay. Anyway, you guys, Lassie did say at the beginning that she does not hold anything against anybody when it comes to what happened on the show. When the show ended, season 2, and remember, Lassie did not have good season 2 when it came to Real Housewives of Devon. Everybody was coming for her. They had reasons because she was lying about the Petal storyline. And so they had reasons to come for her, but she did not have a good season. She did not have a good season. She did not have a good reunion. Okay, remember when Makumalo was coming for her at the reunion. So when the show ended, that wasn't her best show, but she still came. I felt like she came with positive attitude. Okay. And I felt like Noko felt like when she saw Ulasi, she immediately wanted to ask her some questions about their season. Okay. And I can't blame Noko because that makes for good TV. If they don't go into the storylines of what happened in their seasons, then what are they going to talk about? Because the reason that they are there is because they did those seasons that they did on Real Housewives. So some of the things will be carried over to this show. Listen, you guys, it goes well until they have to choose their rooms, and I didn't like it. Okay, I didn't like the room allocations. I was like, that man, guys, our black brothers sometimes will be doing things to us black women that I'm like, what the hell, Like, who is going to protect us? And then when they're going through some things, they'll be like, our black sisters have to be behind us and supporting us and all of that. Because how the hell did he give all of the best rooms to the white girls? I think even the black girls are seeing it, that they are getting the best rooms, and they're getting the rooms with the baths, they're getting rooms with better views, bigger rooms. Litabo was even given a room that had 2 beds. Why? The whole Real Housewives housewife, the celebrity all the way from South Africa, they couldn't find her a room that just had her bed. Why? So I didn't like that, you guys. I really just didn't like that. I don't understand how this guy decided that it was okay to allocate the rooms like that. If production is behind that, that is horrible that they did that. And I was surprised that even though the black girls were not happy, but they decided to not make a big deal about it. I definitely would have made a big deal about it. And I would have said, I feel like you guys gave us these rooms because we are black, okay? It wasn't that the rooms that they got were horrible, but the rooms were not as good as the rooms that the white girls got, And it's hard because you don't want to make it to seem like the white girls have done something wrong. But obviously, whoever allocated the rooms did something wrong, because how did they end up with better rooms than the black? You can't tell me that it has nothing to do with color, because it does, okay? It's just them looking down at the black girls, or it's just another way that they were trying to make them fight, okay, to push them to fight. I did not like that, you guys. I was upset about it. I was like, what? Nongo should get, in fact, they should have done it in a way that, so the OGs should get the best rooms. They should have done that. Okay, white, black, the OGs, So who has been here the longest? Okay, give them the best rooms. Okay, so the person that just came, or Lizzie, no Beverly, who just came now to Real Housewives franchise, should have been the last people to pick the rooms. The rooms were picked for them. You know, it was like that guy first gave the keys to the white girls and then gave the keys to the black girls. They go to their rooms, they're like, oh, these are beautiful rooms. But then when they go to the white girls' rooms, then they realize, Aibo, the rooms are better than our rooms. Okay. Even Beverly was saying, I think it was Beverly or Melanie who said, listen, I want to get the worst room because if you have the worst room, nobody keeps coming to your room to see how beautiful your room is. So if I get the worst room, then I know people will be staying away from my room. But she got the best room. Okay, guys, but people are going to say it's not about race. Anyway, you guys, and I did talk about the conversation between Lassie. Well, it wasn't Bev, it was Melanie. Lassie and Melanie, Melanie calling him Mrs. Zuma. I really think that she was joking. Okay. Now they have to do this dinner, and I guess not everybody got communication that they were supposed to dress up for dinner. So when they are showing up for dinner, others have changed. They are wearing beautiful dresses. With Lassie wearing a parliament dress, you know. It was nice. Her dress was nice, but it did it did remind me of, our female ministers when they go to open the parliament opening, when they go to sauna. Especially when we were sitting down and we were seeing this part, I was like, parliament, imagine. Anyway, so they were all dressed up except for Unonku, no Litabo. They were still wearing the outfits that they arrived in. I guess they didn't get the memo to say Uguti what's going to be happening at dinner. How are they supposed to be dressed? Listen, I think it's tricky because no one housewife is regarded as the host in this whole thing. So they're being hosted, I guess, by the owners of the place. Okay, so nobody is really responsible to make sure that everybody knows when dinner is, what they are supposed to wear, when breakfast is, and all of it. None of the housewives are responsible for that. So I can see how some of them might not get the memo to say this is how you're supposed to look at dinner, you guys. Now everybody is there, and Nonku decides to because they were doing a toast. I guess the butler was feeling like they are fighting. He can't. That's why I was saying, why is the butler so involved? I wasn't understanding that part of it. I guess they were just talking about the Crystal situation. Crystal is upset that they said this about her. Then the butler felt like they were fighting, so he comes to sort of try and get them to do something else so that they don't fight. And I'm like, "Ay, Baba, I want no peace on this trip, So he says they must do a toast. They do a toast, and then Unonku decides to say to Petal. Nonku is obsessed with Petal at this point, okay? They are not even there for 24 hours, and she has mentioned Petal so many times. So she ends up asking, and what happened to Petal? Where is Petal? Asking, Lassie. Listen, you guys, at the time when Petal was petaling, I had thought that Petal existed, okay? But by the end of that season, I thought there was no Petal. It was just difficult for Lassie to confess that there was never any Petal. But you guys remember that Jojo had done some investigations, even though you guys now with Usli going and sitting down with URD, it was the wrongest thing that has ever been done on Real Housewives. But there was a time when Jojo with her husband went and investigated Petal to find out if Petal had the riches that they thought, or the riches that Lassie said he had. Jojo and her husband did that, okay? But nobody sat there and asked Jojo if she had healed, healer pelasis. Nobody sat there and said, sis, healer pel. What was Jojo supposed to heal from? But they did that investigation, okay? They forget, but we don't forget as the viewers, okay? Now, you guys, so Jojo had found out that Petal existed, but he just didn't have the yacht and all of that. In fact, he was living at somebody else's house and all of that. So he wasn't as rich as Lassie was presenting him to be. If he existed, it's possible that Lassie was told that he's rich, but he wasn't rich. But I was just feeling like, guys, this whole thing is made up. There is no Petal. Okay, I was waiting to meet Petal, but he never came. So so Lassie says, listen, Petal ukona uyaphila wherever he is, and Nonku goes into asking, was he real and all of that? Okay, because I was never sure during the season. I was never clear if he really existed and all of that. Lassie is like, what do you mean you were not sure? Because you were the one that was sure that he did not exist. You were the one that will say, even at the reunion, they showed a clip of Nonku saying that everybody had found out that there was no yacht and all of that. So what do you mean that you were confused about it? Okay. I like the fact that Lassie answered Nonku like that, directly to say, no, you are lying because you were the one that was the most concerned about Petal. But in the diary session, she was talking about how bored she was that they were bringing that up. And I was like, I think she's pretending to be bored because you have to have some kind of a storyline. And all we know of you is Petal, former president, and what else? Okay, and she's probably not going to give us much of what's happening in her life currently, the real stuff that we would like to know. So you guys, listen, Nonku gets a video call, which she did not even have to say, because she goes like, oh, video call, someone is video calling me. Nonku was drunk, guys. I don't care what you say. I don't care what people say, because people are going to say Nonku was not drunk. You guys are always saying Nonku was drunk, okay? She was probably drunk from the plane. So she says, oh, somebody just called me. Oh, it's my boyfriend. And then Lassie is like, which boyfriend, Nonku? Then Nonku has amnesia now. Nonku forgets that she just asked Lassie about Petal, who she didn't need to ask her about. All of a sudden she has forgotten. She's like, don't even start with me, Lassie. Hi, Bo. I guess you were asking her about Petal. Now she's asking you about your boyfriend. Now, why are you not wanting to say what's happening with your boyfriend? She says, why are you saying that? Which one? As if I have many boyfriends. And I'm like, you do because you had RD. I'm joking, you guys. But Lassie says, listen, you were trending about the Rafs, about with Raf somebody. I like how she said it like she doesn't know that it's Raf Diamond. She said, you were trending with Raf somebody. So now you're getting a video call. Who's that? Is it Raf Diamond or is it someone else? Okay. I don't know you to have a boyfriend. So now you are getting a video call. Which boyfriend is that? Nonku is like, no, you are just acting like, I have many, many boyfriends. Then Crystal tries to explain it and said, no, I think she's just trying to say that you are popular with the guys. You are popular with the men, which was worse, you guys. Listen, I feel like, honestly, Lassie was just revenging what Nonku had said to her. They sat at the table, she asked about Petal, and when the phone rang and Nonku said, that's my boyfriend, she saw an opportunity to do what she did to her by asking her about the boyfriend. But Nonku, all of a sudden, just a few minutes later, she has forgotten that she had done that herself. Now, there was also a fight about which franchise is the best, I guess, because Liz is sitting over there saying that her franchise is the best, Gqeberha, guys, okay? GQ is the best because they took a trip overseas. And I'm like, if I was Liz, I would not say anything, you guys, because if I had to rate the franchise, I'm sure you have to defend your franchise, okay? It's a fun thing to do. But if I had to rate all of the franchises, I would rate Gqeberha last, and they would be last because there's no other that I can put there. But Gqeberha was horrible, you guys. So, but they did take a trip overseas, which hasn't been done in South Africa. They usually take trips around the country, which is not bad, you guys, because we have beautiful places that they can go to. except they don't use any of those places because Durban always goes to the Drakensberg. Even in KZN, guys, there are so many places they can go to, but they always just go to the Drakensberg as if it's the only place they can go to. And then they had gone to Sun City, I think. So yes, you guys. So she says it's the best because they went overseas. And Lassie was like, no, not really. Durban is the best because our franchise went overseas. Okay. So the trip might not be overseas, but our show is being watched overseas. And she's right because Durban is the only franchise that was picked up by NBC, I believe. So Americans have seen Real Housewives of Durban, whereas they haven't seen the other franchises. So there was that war. The funny thing is that others were like, okay, fine. If GQ is the best, which channel did it play at? And she said SABC One. I'm like, that in itself should tell you that you are not the best franchise. You know, when have you seen Real Housewives on SABC One, Mary? Anyway, you guys, and then guys, it's not Real Housewives if Crystal doesn't talk about her marriages. I think even in Real Housewives of Johannesburg, she used to talk so much about her marriages. You know, like I was married to this one for love now, and then I married this one for sex and all of that. I just don't understand why she always brings up these marriages. Okay, I need a new storyline for Crystal, but if that's all she has, I guess that's all she has, you guys. Then later, this is the thing, you guys. Every housewife here is trying to make sure that they talk about the other housewife's story. And they're trying because it's a way of avoiding people talking about your own story. So everybody, like Nongo was trying to talk about Petal, and then Lassie ended up talking about RD sort of indirectly. Now, even Lita was doing the same because she ended up talking to Beverly, asking her about the reunion. Remember, Real Housewives of Cape Town, they had the most horrible reunion, even worse than GQ. GQ had a horrible reunion. I think that's the reunion where Uma Blair ended up shouting at them. Even the Cape Town, the host ended up shouting at them. In fact, the host was acting like he is part of the cast there. Horrible. One of the things that were revealed by Tato, that's why I said we needed Tato on this trip, was that Tato had revealed that Beverly's daughter had slept with her husband at the reunion. It was the most horrible thing. And then you guys, of course, she was crying, all emotional because they had spoken about her family. But apparently, it's a true story. She really, her daughter did really sleep with her husband. Okay. Now, she hasn't given the details. And this is a story I would love to know more about because how does your daughter end up sleeping with your husband? How does that even happen? Okay. I need the details of the story. So I wasn't upset that Litabo is bringing the story up for Beverly so early on. I wasn't upset at all because I was like, this is a story I want to know more about. However, I recognized that it's a strategy with these housewives that if I point out a thing that is interesting about the other housewife and I start asking questions about that issue, everybody's going to focus on that and possibly they won't be focused on me. That is exactly what Litabo does. Obviously, it changes the mood, and they were asking how she's doing after the situation. The only thing that they're not doing okay is that they're not asking the right questions because she says, I watched the reunion, I watched what happened and how it went. How are you doing after that? I'm like, no, there's not a question that you should ask. You should ask the question that the viewers, like look at it in a viewer's point of view because you're trying to give us a good show. She should have said, tell me, did she really sleep with your husband? If the cast get upset, if the cast member gets upset, it's okay. It's a reality show. They didn't get us the answers because they're like, how are you doing? Okay. They're being messy, but they don't really want to look like they're being messy. So I would have preferred for Litabo to say, did your daughter really sleep with your husband? How did you find out? Because that's the story that the viewers would like to know. But that's not what she does. She's like, how are you doing? She's like, I got over it through prayer, Hey guys, the prayers that we pray to the Lord, me there praying to the Lord, Lord, help me to go through the situation. And God is like, what situation done? No, my daughter slept with my husband. Then, hey, umkosoziwa ubaba God. I guess God knows what happened. He's the one that has all of this because these housewives are not getting it for us. She says she went, she was able to go through it through prayer and all of that. Then Nonku, Nonku did it for us. She was like, then what happened with the season 3? Oh yes, and she does mention that there is a court case with the whole story. But I'm like, how is it a court case? If her daughter slept with her husband, you guys, I believe her daughter is a grown woman. I'm just wondering, how is it in court? Are they suing each other? How? You know, husband work. It's horrible. It's inappropriate. But I believe that she's an adult, you guys. So I guess we need to know more because obviously there's more there since they are in court, you guys. And so now they ended up talking about Real Housewives of Johannesburg. Remember, you guys, with Real Housewives of Johannesburg, we watched season 3, and recently they announced that the show was cancelled. And it's different stories. There's one article that came out recently where they said that the network, like the relationship between the network and Sonia Mpelo was not good. They were not happy with certain things that she does in terms of their working relationship. So they decided to cancel the show. So it didn't have much to do with the fact that they were not being watched and the fact that it was a horrible season that they gave us last season. But months ago, she had done an interview where she had given us this picture that she is the one that is walking away from the show. Okay, so I don't know which story is true. The network is saying they can't work with her because of relationship issues. She said she's walking away from the show because it was a lot for her to deal with. She even got sick and went to the hospital and all of that. Okay, I guess maybe she was preparing us for when we get to hear from what the network says about why they're canceling the show. But the season 3 that we got, the last one that we watched, the disaster one, was not the original season 3. There was a season 3 that they had shot at some point. The ladies got in a fight, and then because people were injured while watching the show, the whole season was scrapped. So they scrapped the season and spent a couple of years without Real Housewives of Johannesburg, which is the reason why we have Real Housewives of Durban running longer than Real Housewives of Johannesburg, even though Real Housewives of Johannesburg is actually the OG franchise, okay? So they were asking about that canceled season because Crystal was part of that canceled season, and Lee Joy as well. But Lee Joy is the only one that was carried over from the canceled season to the new season where they had recasted almost everybody. Okay. Now they're asking about that. Crystal is talking about what happened. She says, listen, I had a horrible time. They had taken a trip to Kenya and she had a horrible time in Kenya because everybody was coming for her. And she was starting to lie, but not realizing that Litabo is there. And then Litabo is like, but I was there. That's not what happened. And she's like, you were there? I don't remember you. But she had just greeted Litabo back there. Now she's like, I don't know if she was saying she doesn't remember or Litabo remember or don't remember Litabo being part of the season. Litabo's like, yeah, we went to I think it's Kenya. They went to Kenya we went to Kenya together. I was there when the whole thing happened. Okay. She said she was treated horribly. She was picked on. Oh, Crystal. Crystal always starts things and acts like a victim. She always finds a way to end up being like a victim. So I'm not surprised. She wants everyone to feel sorry for her. And she got in a fight. Remember, you guys, that not so long ago, the footage of the fights at the club with Tira's wife and who's the other lady? Is it Zara? We saw the clip, you guys. She did a lot of fighting herself, you know, and she did a lot of provoking herself. So she wasn't innocent. When we saw the clip, it wasn't innocent. But back when it was being reported on, it was almost like Abo Kukukati just attacked Crystal, okay? And like she hadn't done anything, because that's how stories that involved white girls are reported. They're always innocent. They didn't do anything. Okay. Now they have a black eye. The black eye just appeared because a black girl just punched them, out of nowhere. They did nothing. The black girl just kicked her, kicked her in the eye. Okay. Kind of a situation. But when we saw the footage, I was like, oh, so it's not like that. Okay. Crystal was very much a participator. It's just that she wasn't able to fight. Okay. She just lost the fight. They even show a picture of her with a blue eye and everything. Okay. Now she's trying to tell that story as if we don't know that, the footage came out and showed us what really happened. She said they were coming for her. And then Lijoy reminds her, remember, the fight didn't happen in Kenya. It happened when you were back in Pretoria, because now she's talking as if everything happened there. Okay. And now, because Lethabo is there, I think it was not easy for Crystal to lie to us as to what happened, because Lethabo is like, listen, when you are done talking, I need you to tell these ladies if you got physical in Kenya. Because you guys, she says, Lethabo, they had a therapist come. The therapist comes to try and help them to resolve things because they were not getting along as the housewives. And because at the time, everybody had an issue with Crystal, when they were asked what their issue was, everybody will say, this is what happened with me and Crystal. Okay. Now, it felt like everybody's attacking Crystal, but it's because everybody had an issue with Crystal. But that's what happened even in season 2 and season 1. Everybody was always having an issue with Crystal, because Crystal is very easy to have an issue with. She will make you have an issue with her. Now she says, can you tell these ladies if you got physical in Kenya? Okay. So I guess, you guys, there are things that we don't know about as far as the fighting with season 3 that was cancelled, that was never revealed. And we are about to find out, because Lethabo is here to tell us about it. Okay. So I was like, I'm happy she's here, because we are going to get clarity on that situation. So now, you guys, I guess Crystal is not going to be able to lie to us. And maybe finally we are going to get a full picture of what happened, because I also didn't understand, like, they got into one fight, because we did not even know how bad the fight was at the time. So it was like they got into a fight, and then the whole show, the whole season gets cancelled. What about the other scenes that they had shot? Couldn't they just take whatever it is that they had shot, take out the scene where the fight happened and all of that? They didn't do. They just cancelled it. So I guess finally we are going to get a full picture of why they cancelled that season. Anyway, you guys, for now, that is the episode. Of course, Londi London hasn't arrived, but I can't wait for her to arrive, you guys, because I do want to see how she interacts with everybody, but I want to see how she interacts with Nonku, because I feel like they are about to give us really good TV, okay? They are about to give us good TV, because they have issues with each other from season 2 of Real Housewives of Durban. And I think Nonku is still holding on to them saying that she drinks a lot, but there are other things that went on between the two of them. There's an article that I saw somewhere this morning where Londi London is talking about what's going to happen between her and Nonku. I think I'll do a different video just discussing that. But in the next episode, we are going to see an exchange between Lassie and Londi London. I do know that Nonku and Londi London. I do know that Lassie and Londi London are back being friends, so I guess they've forgiven each other. But I also want to understand how they got to that place, because when season 2 ended, Londi London and Lassie were like my favorite. That was my favorite friendship on Real Housewives. But when when Londi London threw Lassie under the bus, I didn't understand it, okay? And I want to know how they get back to a good place, because now it seems like they are in a good place. I think recently Lassie attended one of Londi London's parties, and so it looks like they made up. Anyway, you guys, so I can't wait for Londi London to come, because I think she's one of those that are going to add value to the quality of the show that we are going to get. Okay, listen, you guys, the only way we are going to get a good show, and I know it's bad to say, is if these women are fighting and they're confronting each other. Okay. Unfortunately, that's how reality TV shows work. However, you guys, I do hope that they don't get too petty to a point where it becomes too toxic, where we can't even enjoy the show as the women. I hope they find like enough balance in the whole thing. Okay. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this live. I appreciate you so much. Tana L was in the comment section. Nompilo Mazibugo was in the comment section. The only viewer that matters. Hey, Nompilo. Thank you so much, you guys, for being in the comment section. Nonku doesn't like black ladies. She doesn't. She doesn't like black ladies. It's a strange thing that for a black woman, it really is. You know, she does not like black ladies. It's Lassie's hair that makes her look like Nkosazana Zuma. She actually looks like she could be Nkosazana Zuma's daughters. Maybe that's the thing that attracted Lokuzana. It's like a younger version of Nkosazana Zuma. And that's what attracted to Mr. Zuma to Lassie. Koyo, hi Koyo, thank you so much for being here, you guys. Anyway, thank you so much. I have to start work now. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegiona. Share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ngenithanda kakhulu.